of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed in attaining all in that which is your need? To be heard by the real answerer of all deeds, the true hero of all whom pleads. Who of you really want to bow down to the true King of Kings commanding the crown? To worship the one that ever rules alone, commanding everything of creation from the seat of its throne.
Good evening and welcome to an A.H.A.D moment, the calm before the storm. I'm your host, Minister Idris Taha. With me today we have Lord Holy-Apostle Deen Saleem, my partner, brother, Fat Abdul Aziz. We're missing the fourth of our quartet, Holy Queen Mother Rabia. But we wish those in our New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania audiences and those that are present here in the studio, may Ahezaah's peace and other blessings about everyone's presence.
May Ahezaah's peace and other blessings about your presence.
This is always, preface with the show with being the company of the messenger. Ahezaah give us so much of his wisdom through the messenger of Ahezaah. One of the things we're going to discuss this evening on this program is the state of Islam. What's going on in the world of Islam today. And I know one of the great signs that Ahezaah manifested through this man years ago when Allah first mentioned about the grace being taken from those that descended the way of Muhammad in Islam. And the sign of that was those who, for the past few years, I won't say couple, the past few years, the sign of the Hajj, for example, such travesties, the things that have happened over there, things that have taken place in the mistranslation of the holy book, the Quran, for example, one of the great travesties. Allah sent to Holy Apostle back in the year of 1998, July 5th, the honest component titled the Honored Book, when Allah says, honor the word of truth that remain in this holy Arabic Quran, but eschew all that was and will be taken up and desecrated by the hands and tongues of men and jinn and mixed with falsehood. And we have today, I mentioned Holy Queen had a conversation previous this week, showing how she had a sister was writing to another sister about something, and she used the Noble Quran, for example, and took all these writings, and when she read it, she said, "This ain't in the Quran," because so much had been intermixed with that particular translation of the Quran that you can't find what Allah sent down. And I don't know so much in Arabic, but in the translation of that book, they have intermixed writings of men, so-called scholars and other things into the book that now they have lost the Quran. And Allah says in this book, as part of His prophecy, that this Quran will be an utterly discarded thing in time, that they will forget the Quran itself. So we're going to discuss that and many other things, doing discussion about the state of Islam in today's society and world. So with that, Holy Apostle, my brother.
Well, if Lord, if I may just, when you use the term they lost the Quran, just was caused in my mind that they actually had turned away. It was an act of turning away from the Quran because they know what they're doing and they're intermixing, and mostly it's the scholastic ones in that circle who know the Arabic and know the what's actually said in the book more so than the followers, and they've actually did the act of turning from the Quran. But then when you pointed out the scripture in it, that in fact fit what they did. They turn away. They discard the book in effect.
I was pondering this morning something that Ahezaah said. I woke up in a state. I scared my children. I yelled in my sleep, waking up. I realized I was at war. And the first thing I thought when I woke up after thinking about Ahezaah was, wow, they finally did it. The Arabs have finally did it. They have destroyed our people's chances of coming clear of Islam. We have so many brothers and sisters that think they are of the way of Muhammad, think they are of the Holy Quran, think they are of the Lord's divine words. They really believe that. And they've been taken by the devil. And they don't understand that the devil is beautiful, charming, attractive, and fashionable, and call them to its way. And for their passion and their lust and their gluttony, they go with it. And I thought about how Ahezaah's first thing is sent down was, protect the authentic Holy Quran, because I was straightening out a book editing a book one of them many books that I have that the community decided we're going to go ahead and publish. And I was reading in there, that particular word, protect the authentic Quran, Holy Quran. Yeah. And I said, authentic. And I said, oh my Lord. When I received that, it was very positive. Okay. I just thought about, protect the Quran. Mm-hmm. And I didn't give it any heavy thought. But now I see how they have totally trashed the Holy Quran. I mean, trashed it. And they got this thing called a noble Quran, and they probably got other so-called Qurans out there.
Yeah.
And they got the people confused about what's authentic and what's not. I mean, the authenticity is gone when people start quoting hadith that's written in there, mixed in with the Quran. That's not Allah's word.
Right.
That's like coffee with milk. You say, give me a cup of coffee, and somebody say, well, how you want it? Milk and sugar or honey? I said, give me a cup of coffee. Right. Not a cup of coffee with cream and honey and sugar.
Right.
You see? So Allah gives you the purity, but then men have mixed it all up. And they got people joining what they think is the real religion of Islam.
Yeah.
The real religion of Islam has been trashed, just like Allah's name has been trashed. And now Allah has revealed His new name of Ahezaah to replace what they've done to the name of Allah. And have sent down a new covenant which people are not running to find out about. You understand? When we first started, when I met you guys, when we got this office about 15 years ago, and in Newark, what was the first thing they were saying? Stop that brother. He's deluded. Right. He's out of his mind.
Right.
Huh? Before they even heard what I had to say. Because some foreigners told them a lie about Prophet Muhammad being the last messenger from Allah. And they want to come and assault their brother who mean them well, who have love for him.
Right.
Because of what these foreigners have said. You got some so duped up and worship them foreigners so much that you can't talk to them. And you can't say anything about the Arabs because they hold them as holy and divine. Like the Catholicists hold the Pope and the priests. No matter what they do, no matter how many young boys they sodomize, they still holy from the Lord and as far as they're concerned.
Right.
And you can't say nothing about them. What can you do with a people like that? These people are gone. They are enemies of Islam, the true Islam. They are enemies of the authentic Holy Quran. It's the word sent down by Allah to Gabriel and which was given to Muhammad. And they are enemies of the path of the way. Their religion is nothing like Muhammad's religion. Their Sunnah and whatever they call themselves is nothing like Prophet Muhammad. I was saying to a guy the other day, he was talking about his brothers being on the Sunnah. I said, they always talking about the Sunnah of Muhammad, and they authentic, and they this, that, and the other. I haven't seen one of them brothers riding down Broad Street on a camel.
That's true.
Not even on a donkey. And then they talking about no innovations and what have you.
Right.
Yet they jumping in them Cadillacs, them Chevys and everything else, Lexuses, and doing their thing.
All innovations, according to them.
All innovations.
Right.
So they're just straight up hypocrites. Twisting Allah's words and to fashion their own desires.
One of the things that I said prior to coming on, we were discussing what Ahezaah called us to give to believe here. And one of the statements Allah made was that as long as this world exists, Allah will always send messengers.
Right.
Then Allah says in the Quran, for example, chapter 6, it constantly mentions over and over again, when my messengers, plural, come to you.
Right.
When they come to you.
Right.
But how they changed that to Muhammad being the final which was a crushing blow, like
well,
you said.
you know that the devils, the doers of evil, did that. The jinn did that, and that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
How can we even have a discussion about Islam when Islam has been erased?
Right.
You know, they got this old saying, these niggas out in the street. And when I say niggas, I ain't talking about black folks. I'm talking about people.
Right.
Ignorant people, you know. They talk about, you know, don't hate the player, hate the game.
Yeah.
And people think that's cool. But it's not cool. Because how you going to hate the game if the players don't play it?
That's right.
The players make the game. I don't care who create the game. If it's not played, it's no game.
That's right.
So in Islam, I say don't hate the game, hate the players. Because the game is the game of life, and Allah has given us a perfect path to walk through. And they, in their plan, have made it crooked. They have destroyed Islam. They destroyed what Jesus brought and called it Christianity. They destroyed what Moses brought and called it Judaism. They destroyed what Siddhartha brought and Lao Shu brought and called it Buddhism and Hinduism.
Right.
They destroyed every path of the way that Allah sent down and act as though they all chosen and they all holy, meaning they all complete or perfect or perfected by Allah, because that's what holy means.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. That's something, When Ahezaah gave to you, going back to the term Islam, the religion of the all-knowing.
The religion of the knower, or the religion of the all-knowing, right, the Lamb.
And that Allah broke down that Muslim, everything in creation.
Yes.
You know, and Allah explained to us that those who are believing Muslim, as opposed when you read people read the Quran, they think the believers is them, themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Allah said those believing Muslims who have been totally surrendered in the path of the way to Allah and what is sent down of His righteous way. People,
you know, I hate to cut you off, but I'm burning right now. My thing is, it's dangerous to even try to quote what's written in the translation of the Holy Quran. You just said Allah said the believing Muslims. Do you know that Allah said that? Because I don't know Arabic.
Oh, okay.
Do you know Arabic?
No.
See what I'm saying? Because we trusted them Arabs.
Right, okay. I get what you're saying.
We trusted those people who the language came down to. Who came down in their language. And they translated the Quran, and Allah has shown me many places where they have twisted and broken and changed and sealed up the truth. Okay. Just like chapter 112, the unity, where they say He is Allah and there's no He is there.
Right.
You and Allah is one, is A.H.A.D.
That's right.
And then when it says, they say this is the book talking about the Holy Quran, Allah said no, it said that is the book talking about the book in heaven and that which was sent down to Moses and all those that came before. But Muhammad was talking to the Jews, the so-called Jews, and said and that is the book. In that book there's no doubt. It's the same thing I'm bringing.
Right.
And they turn and try to say he was talking about this is the book and there's no doubt.
Right.
But Allah said this book is for the believer, those who have faith, and those who spend of what we has given, those who surrender themselves. It's not for those who don't. But we got people who don't believe in that book. They believe in the hadiths. They have equated the hadiths with the Holy Quran, with the perfect words of Allah, with man's imperfect words. And then they say that that's their book. And it's not.
But it makes sense when you point out the history of imperfect men, history of wrongdoing men who went there and usurped and messed with each of the divine words as they came down. And in that argument, it again explains Ahezaah being its independent self, the utter sense it would be for Ahezaah to send a messenger to each people, to each time, to keep those words clear.
Out of the mercy
Right.
Out of the mercy of the Lord, it gave us life. Out of its mercy. Out of the love of itself, it created creation. You see, people always say, oh, Lord loves me, it created me from love. It created you to reflect itself. It didn't create you for its love of you. Because it don't love you like that, like what you think. Because if it loved you so much, it wouldn't destroy us for being so wrong, so bad. Out of its mercy, it has given us life, and it contains us in life. And it serves us as the greatest slave there is. As the greatest, I should say, not slave, but the greatest servant there is. Because if it don't serve us, we're not served life. Right. It serves us life. It serves us breath, oxygen, blood, skin, mind, essence of mind, everything. It serves us. So out of its mercy, it sustains us in life. Now, we need to show love for it and thankfulness for its mercy. And in that, it gives us compassion, intimacy. We should be so happy and blessed in our minds about that. Why will we follow suit to people talking about it's not going to even speak to us anymore? What those so-called Muslims or those so-called believers in the way of Muhammad, those so-called people supposedly following the authentic way of Muhammad, what they fail to realize is that Muhammad did not create Islam. He did not introduce Islam. He did not produce Islam. All he did was carry the message that was already here long before him being here on earth. He carried the same message as Lao Shu and Siddhartha, Akhenaten, Imhotep, and a lot of the other pharaohs that you don't know about. Trust me. Allah said the original meaning of the pharaohs was the prophet. The original meaning of the prophet was the pharaohs, because from way back, it always made its men the leaders of the community.
Right.
You had to be of the divine to become a pharaoh.
Right.
And that got corrupted, just like the priests who follow in the footsteps of Jesus have gotten corrupted. Just like the imams and the so-called sheikhs following Muhammad has gotten corrupted. And you can walk around, everybody a sheikh now. Everybody want to teach. If everybody teaching Islam, who's learning Islam? Everybody want to be a teacher. You can't even hold a conversation without a stranger hearing you saying, oh, he mentioned Islam, Allah, and jump in your conversation.
Yeah.
So rude. When inside the words that Allah sent down to Muhammad themselves, it says that this is a continuation of that which came before it.
Right.
It's a continuation. It's a balancing tool. It's a criterion. It's something to judge what had been sent down already about it. It distinguishes right from wrong about what had came before. Just like the Divine Book of Recitation today is a criterion for the Holy Quran, the authentic Holy Quran, and all that was authentic that came before it. Allah's religion, a way of life that it chose for us, has not changed. It's the people that have changed. It's the people that's always making it crooked. It's the people that make Islam seem like it's a warring, bloodthirsty religion. A religion that's full of people who are greedy and want to take up the land and want to possess everything. That's not Islam. Never was Islam. It's always the religion of the devil. What they got is something to compete with what the devil has done to the people of the book before Muhammad. The Hebrews and the Hindus and the Buddhists and all these people who call themselves whatever they call themselves, that has had the word from the Nordics up north to people maybe down in Australia, to the people in the rainforest of South America who worship under the name of Hunab-Ku. You feel me? Mm-hmm. They have made everything, they have taken it away. They have made it crooked. You know, the Native Americans, they had a beautiful religion of Islam, and they still call out the name of Allah. And if you listen to them carefully in their powwows, Huwa Allah, you understand? Mm-hmm. But then they got confused with the spirit of the creatures and start worshiping the creatures. Like what the people who stole from the libraries of antiquity of Alexandria,
Egypt, right,
and took it up north, and you had Plato's and Socrates and all of them. And then they screwed that up. Mm-hmm. And they always want to worship the religion and not the Lord. Look how many people today talk about Allah in one breath, Muhammad in another breath, and the hadiths in another breath. And you start weighing out, okay, which one is the heaviest? And then it's always to the left. Here we go. They worshiping and they want what the religion brings. See, the religion will bring you to Allah. Mm-hmm. They want what Allah brings to the religion, to the faithful, to the favored. They want all the goods.
Right.
They don't want Allah. They don't want Ahezaah. And then they go out here and they will fight and die and cut and shoot and stab and cut off heads and do all kind of stuff and say that that's what Allah sent down. Walking around looking all dirty like they done came off the desert and mean. You know, when come the time that Allah said you have to look like a grizzly bear with your beard, a grease monkey, dusty with dirty clothes, shabby. You know what I'm saying? You got guys that won't even iron their clothes. Oh, well, we don't deal with modernization, you know.
Yeah.
Then you just get out of that Lexus. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Anything to fashion what they want, their desire. And it's a shame because Allah has come to destroy this world today and people don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
I've listened to people, they said I was arrogant because of the way I dressed and the way I talked and the way I did not back down from people. So they want to say I'm arrogant. He can't be from Allah because he's arrogant. Why? Because he stand up for what he's saying. He don't take no bull jive.
Right.
You know? He say he's from Allah, but he'll use profanity. You damn right. And I'll punch your ass out too, if it come to that. Why? Because I am from Allah. Allah did not make cowards. Mm-hmm. You can't point out a prophet to me that was a coward.
Right.
Little Elijah Muhammad, little man, wasn't no coward at all. Mm-hmm. Allah don't make cowards to represent. How a coward gonna represent Allah? And see, they upset because I'm not a coward.
Right.
They want me to be a coward. They want me to cower under their words. But I'll sit back just as cool, calm, and collective if you saying the right thing. But if you going to come off wrong about my Lord, my life, my death, my prayers, my sacrifices are all for Ahezaah Allah. Mm-hmm. For real. So I don't care what you could be a grizzly bear. If you're talking, I'm going to talk to you. And I'm going to tell you what's right. Mm-hmm. I remember back in the day, Elijah had it right. Elijah said, don't read the Quran. Okay. Let the ministers read the Quran. And I pondered over that a lot because long before I got to Elijah, I had read the Holy Quran many times. I didn't get to Elijah till I was like 19 years old, 20 years old. But I have been following his way since my childhood. And I'm not talking about just looking at the white man as the devil, because I never believed that the white man was the devil itself until I joined the military and seen everything Elijah said about him was true. Their hidden ways and things they do. Then I said, whoa, they are devil. What is a devil? A doer of evil. And Elijah always said that. I seen they were doers of evil, and they didn't have a respect for human life. They take people as numbers, and they was killing people. I'm just talking about the military Caucasians.
Right.
I'm not talking about just the citizens. I'm talking about the military Caucasians. And them the only ones I had ever came in close contact with. I mean, personal contact. And I was like, oh, Lord, Elijah was telling the truth about these people. Now they hating us for no reason. They looking down on us, and we're human beings, you know. See, I didn't have the opportunity like Martin Luther King and them, who had the opportunity to get chased and bit by dogs and beat by the cops and all that stuff. We had a little bit happening up here in Newark with the, and with that little bit, we ride it.
That's right.
We said, hey, wait a minute, enough is enough. And I believe they bring in those types of mentality back to this city where the riots would happen again. But I think they feel safe because they done got rid of maybe 400,000 African Americans. They trying to get rid of all of them so that they don't be no riots, so they can take over the city. They got the little soft ones left, the scared ones sitting up in the city hall and what have you, you know, that knows what's going on, but they don't fear. They fear men, and that's why they could surrender to wrong. That's why politicians could surrender to wrong, because they fear men. They don't fear Allah. They don't fear the divine word. They use that as a tool to get votes. But they don't have fear of Allah. They don't believe in Allah. They don't believe in the eternal being. You know? They say they do, but if they did and they had some kind of relationship with it, they couldn't follow the laws that's written. That's wrong. They couldn't follow the uneven judgments that the authorities make in the city. Say, well, you got to be judged by people of your peers. What do you mean by that? Why not be judged by people who have been proven to be righteous? You know what I'm saying? Because my peers might, so my peer at one time was a person who was like middle income. So now that I done changed my ways and I serve Allah, and that's basically all I do. So my peers, I got to go to the street and find my peers, somebody who is at the lowest income. That's my peer now. Because they ain't talking about peer mentality. Because if there was a peer mentality to judge me, they wouldn't have nobody to judge me in the country. So now they judge men by their financial state of being.
So we're going to hold on to that thought. For those who are in our New York audience that catching part of this show, you know, come and catch the second half of this conversation with the Holy Apostle about the state of Islam. Thank you for tuning in. Have a good evening. May He just peace on the brother about your presence.
You want to do things right, to keep up with keeping your lives tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you